confidence did the defense have against Pitt or gain during the course of that game against Pitt?
I feel like we played with a lot of confidence, just considering what happened last year with Pitt. Like, we kind of felt like, we owed them one last week, and we feel like we went out there, we didn't execute to the best that we could have, but we did enough to come out with the win, so it ended up being good enough.
Wes?
Solon, from your vantage point there, I don't think you were on the field when it happened, but there was that long run that Pitt had early, like the 75-yarder or whatever it was. But that was more than half the rushing yards they had for the entire game. So what went wrong there, and what did y'all do the rest of the game to keep them kind of bottled up?
It was just the amount of focus that we had. Bad run fit. They ended up spitting one for, I think it was like, what you said, like 75 yards. And the main thing is, like, we came up to the sideline like, hey, get it going, get it together. And, it kind of showed out throughout the rest of the game. We held them to, I don't really know how many yards, but, like, we really shut the run game down, kind of tried to make them one-dimensional. And, like I said, it ended up being enough to win the game.
Patrick?
Couple things. First of all, with Trayvon, he had the muff punt and he came back with a sack in overtime. Just were you around him much during the time period between that? Was he pretty upset after the punt? And what was the reaction from him when he made the big play in overtime?
Yeah, I mean, he was very upset. He's one of those guys that, like, even at practice, I don't think I've ever seen him drop a ball, like a punt. So when it came to that time, he had his head down a little bit, but a lot of guys came around him. We all went up to him like, hey, like, let's get going. We still got to finish out the game strong, and he went out there. He was making a whole lot of plays. He didn't let it affect him the rest of the game. So that was the biggest thing for us.
And to follow up, I guess now you guys are, mostly known for your offense, but if your defense to go out there and win a game like that, what does that say about the unit's kind of determination to go out there and get the job done?
I mean, we play defense here too. You know what I mean? Like, you got to play defense to win a game. It's 3 phases: offense, defense, and special teams. So just trying to make it seem like we only play offense over here. The defense, we put that on our back. Like, hey, we play defense here too. So we went out there, we tried to, make our impact felt.
Amen.
So given what you just said, does the defense play with the chip on its shoulder? Do you feel like you guys are overlooked?
I mean, I feel like we are overlooked every week. We go in there with everybody, like, we treat everybody the same. We treat everybody like they're Bama. You know what I mean? Like, we don't overlook anybody, even, whether it be like you're number 1 or you're not ranked at all. We're still going in there the same work ethic, same consistency every week.
Any more for Solon? Jimmy, and then back to Wes. Go ahead.
What are your thoughts on Akron? What have you seen of them on film?
They got a really good quarterback. They got a really good offense. They got guys on scholarship too. You know what I mean? So we just gonna, like I said, stay consistent. We're gonna treat them. We don't look, like I said, we don't overlook anybody. So we're gonna go out there with the same work ethic. We're gonna go out there. We're gonna prepare for them just like we prepare for anybody. We're not, like I said, we're not overlooking anybody.
Wes and then Vince.
So I know Jimmy just asked you a little bit about Akron, but when you go into any week and you're a 50-point favorite and you just played a big game at Pitt, who's coming here next week, how do you keep the focus on what it needs to be now for y'all to kind of do the things you need to do to get better as a team?
Well, I know, first of all, we don't really pay attention to that. Whether we're 50-point favorites or 50-point underdogs, we don't really take it. We don't really pay attention to that. We don't control what we can control. Last week, we already spoke on the big run that Pitt had. So we made a whole lot of mistakes. We got to go in there with first things first. We got to clean that stuff up because we know that later on down the road, we can't give up those big runs. We can't give up those big plays, big explosive plays. We got to hold teams to, small rushing yards and make them very one-dimensional. We can't have explosive plays like that.
Vince?
So share some insight from playing with Aaron Beasley and why he's had such a strong start to the season.
You asked the question again.
Aaron Beasley.
I asked the question again, my bad.
Oh, yeah. Share some insight on why you think he's had so much success so far and playing really well for you guys.
Oh, I believe it's just, a different amount of focus. He's come in there every week just like, everybody else. He come in there every week ready to work. He's focused. He showed up as a leader on and off the field. So I feel like that shows up, on game day.
Anything else? Jimmy, last one.
So, and I think that Coach Heupel mentioned this, it didn't feel like Tennessee played its best, but you still won the game. What does that say about the progress that this program has made?
Well, as far as progress is concerned, you know, it's leaps and bounds from what we were last year. Because last year we probably would have, you know, held our head down. We would have let the early lead affect us all the way throughout the game. We came in there at halftime. You know, we had a little bit of a lead going. So we was like, you know what? We got to double down. We got to make sure we're consistent. We got to make sure that we clean up the things that hurt us in the first half. Make sure we don't have the same mistakes we did affect us again. So that was the main thing, is just the attention to detail in this team this year is way different. Like I said, leaps and bounds beyond where we were last year, and that gave us the edge to win the game.
Thanks, Solon.
Thank y'all.